We need to talk about this. The Adventure Engine is without a doubt one of the most powerful groups of cards in the game. With just a single card, players are able to set up 2 bodies, interruption, and even spot removal. And this engine made waves as soon as the Grand Creators was released, being played in more than half of all topping decks at YCS Vegas. But is that all there really is to the Adventure Engine? Or is there even more that this group of cards enables? Let's talk about why the Adventure Engine is Tier 0. One, it gives decks the ability to play through specific types of interaction, most notably Nibiru. You'll notice that in the top cut graph earlier mentioned, a lot of these decks are playing the Adventure Engine share a common trend. They're all susceptible to Nibiru. Nibiru is and remains one of the game's most defining and most impactful hand traps, being able to stop combo cold in its tracks when they burned a considerable amount of their resources. The guessing game of are they main decking Nibiru in game 1, a trend becoming more and more common as the meta progresses, and do they have Nibiru in hand for games 2 and 3, are factors that make the Brave Engine extremely powerful in a sense, being able that you no longer have to worry about your board being disassembled due to a single hand trap, and you could basically combo off worry-free. And it's not even just Nibiru. Griffin Rider is an Omni negate, so if you're on the read that your opponent isn't on Nibiru and playing less high impact hand traps, you're able to instead further insulate your plays against stuff such as Ash Blossom or Imperms. Griffin Rider really is incredible at what it can do, which in all honesty, it can do just about anything. 2. The Brave Engine is incredibly splashable. One of the biggest pluses for any engine is how splashable it is, and you'll notice that throughout the history of this game, the most successful and powerful engines have always been the most generically accessible ones. Whether it's an engine focused around the main deck such as Invoked or Zodiac, or the extra deck with Linkcross and Auroradon setups, these engines are without a doubt what can make or break entire formats wide open, and the Brave Engine does exactly that. The fact that the Adventure Engine is not only able to be played in decks that are countered by Nibiru, but also in decks that never really lost to it in the first place is one of the other major factors for what made the engine so powerful. Decks such as Plunder Patrol, Dragon Link, and Sky Striker, which almost never fear the rock due to a lack of summons or extreme follow-up, are able to easily splash this card in due to inherent synergies with the monsters that they play, and to further insulate them against cards that would annoy them, such as Ash Blossom on Blackbeard or Ghost Ogre on Boot Sector launch. Again, these are decks that realistically don't have too many hand traps to fear about losing the game outright, but they're still able to play cards such as the Brave Engine in order to completely insulate their plays and set up further negation. 3. The Dracobeck is really fucking good. On release, people originally wrote off Dracobeck being a card that was pretty cute but ultimately worthless because it facilitated running an extra Garnet in your main deck that didn't really see too much practical application. However, as time went on, people began to really quickly understand how truly broken Dracobeck is at cracking boards. Removal spells are weird in Yu-Gi-Oh! They are powerful and come in all sorts of flavors, but their main issue is that they're primarily unsearchable, which leads to a weird give and take between slotting them into the main deck as tech choices and sacky one-offs, or playing those which are powerful but have generally more narrow applications, such as Forbidden Droplets. Much with the Sky Striker's archetype's removal spells, Dracobeck is the exception, being that it's searchable and is generically great across the board. Although it does target, its generic nature of being able to act as a non-destruction form of removal is incredible at being able to be removable for both back row and monster-based boards. This dynamic is incredible when you consider the fact that Dracobeck either forces a negate or is able to force out floodgates and even just flat out remove them. Cards such as Mystic Mine and Skill Drain are far less potent when it's able to be just bounced back to the hand by a searchable compulse that affects spells and traps as well. 4. It can play going second as well. One of the more underrated parts of the Brave engine is its ability to go second. Unlike other engines which are primarily focused around going first plays, the Brave engine can be used to supplement the ability to make plays while under heavy negation or a stun-like effect for the turn, such as Ultimateness or Scythe. Because of Dracobeck and the token's defensive abilities and spot removal, alongside Griffin acting as a main deck summonable Omni Negate that additionally has a large body to back it up, the Brave engine is able to easily stabilize against boards that may not have the best follow-up through a negate and after being cracked, such as Drytron. The fact that this engine is so generic and was splashable in nearly every single deck, unlike Striker, which was locked out of certain decks due to its card activation conditions and its loss of potency due to the ban list, and has extremely powerful payoffs, signifies how dreadfully powerful this engine is. So in what characteristics does this engine fail? Its one and only con: it plays Garnets. The only issue I could find within the Brave engine, outside of its price of course, is the fact that it plays 3 engine requirements that you never really want to draw: Griffin Rider, Dracobeck, and Fateful Adventure. Although you can still technically combo and utilize the engine if you open these cards, such a high Garnet count asks players the questions of how willing they are to sacrifice consistency for power. In certain decks such as Phantom Knight, they sacrifice consistency and tunnel in on resolving certain cards and strategies such as Scythe. Other decks, such as Based, play 60 cards and tons of consistency boosters such as Illusion of Chaos to help offset potential bricks. When asked about the idea that power and consistency are inversely related, Patrick Hoban had this to say about the issue.
There's an idea of a trade-off between consistency and power. And in a lot of cases it is true, but I think often in the best decks it's not true, and you get both.
There is definitely a rule in Yu-Gi-Oh! That power does come at a cost, but the exception to the rule is definitely found within the Adventure engine, an engine that is concise, powerful, splashable, and able to easily play even if it opens its Garnets, represent the current changing dynamic found within Yu-Gi-Oh!, where decks focused around streamlined plans based around archetypal play and synergy has evolved into decks cramming in multiple engines for individually powerful payoffs that blend together to form a homogeneous blend of negates, disruption, and floodgates. And no other engine facilitates and represents this style of change in gameplay better than the Adventure engine, one of, if not, the strongest engine of all time. Thanks for watching.